I have about 15 pages of wiring diagrams that I hand wrote.
I made that very small.
I did. Things you need to wire are the power to the ECU, power to the injectors, signal to the starter, solenoid, radiator fans, fuel pump. So here's the good starter from the 79 280ZX engine, and it's all hooked up now. Hopefully it works.
You ready to die?
Okay, so here we are connecting the battery. I hadn't done it yet, and I was terrified because I wired all of this stuff. Just wanted to make sure it all worked. You probably understand my nerves. Testing for days.
Interesting.
Just test it right there. Test it on the open part, dude.
Use a little switch panel. It's kind of ghetto, but it works. Radiator was easy to install. It's just 4 bolts.
The bolt holes didn't quite line up. I had to drill that hole out for the radiator.
Oh god.
Remember that?
Okay, the radiator did not go in as easily as I remembered it did. The radiator did not quite line up with the core support. Maybe it was hitting the trailer, bent the frame.
I think it was already bent.
I got a silicone adapter for the mass airflow sensor that was 70mm to 60mm. And it looked like it would fit, but then I forgot about the radiator. So now I have to get some sort of bend to fit the mass airflow sensor to the throttle body. And the old one has a huge rip right there in the connection. So that's not gonna work. So here's a mock-up of the new radiator fans, so because we're not using the mechanical one. And there's the new 45-degree, 60 to 70mm silicone boot.
Bitch.
Ah! Well,
Wait, I got it.
you can loosen the radiator if you have to.
Go up to the other side and pull it.
Here's the throttle linkage rod, I guess. For some reason, the throttle linkage was too short from the firewall to engine, so we had to make it a little longer. I bought a new one on eBay thinking it may have been a different size, but I was wrong. So we cut the old one and we just stuck a bolt.
It was a random piece of steel.
Here's the difference, is about a 1-inch extension, and my favorite color, the hammered copper. Fits just great. I think we had installed it upside down a couple of times by accident.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I'm assuming it comes in this way. Hand tight?
I think hand tight's good enough.
So this is the AutoBest fuel pump from Jigs that I thought would work. But then after a little digging from Mike, he looked up the part number and found that the fuel pressure was just too low. I believe it was for a throttle body injection, like a GM throttle body injection, but yeah, need more fuel pressure than that. Here's the new fuel pump. I think it's at 25 foot-pounds because it's plastic and has an O-ring.
It seems high.
So we had to finagle with the connections a little bit. I don't know what sizes. I don't know if they're AN fittings. I don't know what any of the fittings are. So I was trying to use any of the ones that were on the fuel cell already. I couldn't fit my fat arm inside of the fuel cell.
Ooh, ew.
Fuel filter right out of the fuel cell because when I first got the fuel cell, it was gross. It's probably still kind of gross.
This reminds me of the time when we did the Miata frame rails.
Oh no.
The fuel pump is attached right underneath where the spare would have gone, just full of bolts.
We do everything proper here at Mike's garage.
Of course. Go ahead and see how tight this is.
That doesn't have a nut.
How about that front one? That's probably tight, right?
This one?
Yeah, I think it's probably pretty tight.
I mean, it's the fuel cell.
Oh.
It's gotta be very secure, right?
Uh-huh. I think it's secure.
Oh, man. I mean, that's not bad.
And on this side, we got sheet metal screws. That back one's pretty tight. But that front one...
The mounting for the fuel cell that the previous owner put in, they were all loose, or they were all just bolts and no nuts on the other side. So that was not secure. We decided to put some bolts and nuts on them, make it a little more space.
And when you say we decided, you mean I made you do it.
Okay. I'm lazy. Okay. A bit of house cleaning. As you can see, the hatch is not original to the car. I'm not sure what happened to the back of it. It's probably just really rusty.
Filters here, but one of them's gonna be the engine bay.
Okay,
yeah. In the ignition? Yeah. Go first. Ready?
Yeah, do it.
Nothing. Okay. Good. Nothing is good. Alright. Should we put some gas in?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I don't like those. How much should I put in?
I don't know.
Here's the first fire of the fuel pump to see if it works.
Oh. Ew.
Really?
It definitely worked. It's black. Whatever was in those fuel lines was disgusting. And imagine that was going into the old engine, into the old car. Well, probably not. Probably wasn't pulling any fuel out. Ran it for like 30 seconds or so, clean out most of the fuel lines. There's all the crud that was inside of the fuel cell. So here's the first time I have the starter solenoid hooked up and tensions are running high, adrenaline's pumping. I hooked the ignition coil so it wouldn't fire. Just wanted to see if it would crank.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in gear!
It's in gear! I definitely saw a spark.
Okay, not in gear anymore. Jesus Christ! Woo! Well, yeah, it worked.
I may have forgotten to take the car out of gear.
In this car, there's no clutch disengage switch.
Yeah, it was safe. We were safe. It was okay. There's a bit of a spark. Not sure what that is, but it hasn't happened again, so I'm just gonna ignore it and pretend that it never happened.
We should maybe move that gas. Big spark pool of gas underneath it. Oh shit. We're gonna die. Haley's right. Haley doesn't have to know about the gas. Haley doesn't watch these videos. No, probably not.
It's maybe also worth noting that before we started it, I looked around for the fire extinguisher. I didn't see it. I decided not to say anything. I'm not sure where it is.
I'm glad. Not in gear.
Here's the actual first crank test.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see any spark. Seems good.
Sounds good. Sounds strong.
Here's a spark test just to see how far it'll jump.
Hey.
Pretty good blue spark.
It is a new coil. So.
And apparently the ZX distributor is better than the Z distributor. There was a bit of a leak still, even after all that work with the fuel cell.
Oh yeah. I saw a drip.
The EGR block off. Here it is. And it's always a beautiful thing, the first actual start of the engine.
Let's do it.
Very exciting.
I found the fire extinguisher, so I know where that is.
That's good. Try again.
That fuel pump is so loud. It might not have any gas in it.
You can see it's not running great, but the ignition timing's not set, and a couple of little small things. Smoked up the garage a little bit, so we had to shut it off pretty quick. Just trying to get the timing right.
We started it! It worked! That wasn't that bad. That wasn't that loud. You guys created this.
Don't blame this on us.
What are you trying to say? I'm impressed actually. It's something. I'm just happy that the fuel injectors work.
Yeah.
I can keep forgetting to turn off the fuel pump.
It's loud enough, you probably won't leave that on. It doesn't sound bad off idle. It might be okay. I mean, we just need to run it. Okay, 12.44.
Here's alternating test. And it seems to go up, so I mean, I'm gonna call that a good alternator. It's a little scary at first to kind of stay at 12 for a while.
Yeah, it takes a little while to get there.
But it's an old car, old alternator. Here's the timing. It's very hard to see the mark. I still don't see it.
Like, I think that's... Yeah, it's like that little thing.
Pretty cool. It's probably remarketed. I'm gonna block offs for all the coolant. There's like 2 coolant passages that we have to block. I don't know what they went to. Nothing important. Probably the coolant line off of the thermostat housing. Trying to fix the overflow here. Somebody crimped it over for whatever reason. I don't know. We'll be fine now. Filling the radiator for the first time.
We ran out of water.
We ran out of distilled water. So filtered water from the fridge is probably fine. It looks like I'm in a clown car. We're trying to make a ghetto seat, and we couldn't figure anything out.
That was just way too.
It's a little bit high.
Yeah, a bucket. I'd be like,
Yeah.
Dude, it's like, oh man, it's like I got a suspension seat in here.
oh, I can't reach the shifter.
Good.
Oh well.
Oh yes, I want to put the window down just so I can see easier. The splines are destroyed. White strips it is.
Oh, there you go. You got an angle.
Yeah.
Never take them off.
Nice. Got the window down.
Woo! Pretty important moment as well. Reverse works, clutch works. Smoke from all the unburnt oil and leftovers that were in there. Yeah, there's no exhaust on the car yet, it's just headers. It's a little loud. You're gonna try to adjust the idle. Something weird is going on here with the idle. It would idle fine on initial startup, and then as soon as you touch the throttle, or even if you just waited a few seconds, it would skyrocket to like 2,000 RPM, and it would just stay there.
He's trying to run away there.
That was weird.
So I'm trying to diagnose exactly what's going on.
It just kept revving and revving and revving.
I touched the throttle.
It's such a relief to know that the engine starts, and my wiring was mostly correct as far as we know. The first start of a vehicle, if you haven't experienced that, definitely don't do it this way. But rebuilding an engine that you bought at Craigslist for $250 and seeing that it works after installing it yourself is it's very satisfying. But there is a ton of work left to do still. It's been a long journey, about 6 months that we've had the car now. Finish line is approaching, so just gotta tough it through and you can finally see it on the road again. Good amount of play. Fans. And I had to draw the wires around the numbers because I'm dumb.
You turned the flashlight on as soon as I turned the ignition on. That was a big spark. Mike, I figured it out. Get me some electrical tape.
You like the dingus?
It's good, yeah.
So here's the starter motor. Pretty easy to install, thankfully. It's like 2 bolts.
Maybe shorter. 5 seconds, maybe.
Here we are with the starter motor.
Too long.
Jesus Christ.
Faster.
Starter motor installed now.